Hello everyone, today I will be showing you how to kill raid bosses as a webber. Let's start with Dragonfly. In my original video I used 10 nurse spiders, all of them with football helmets. This turns out to be non-optimal. Do you know what's the minimum amount of spiders needed for tanking Dragonfly? 3. Just 3. You only need 3 nurse spiders without armor to tank Dragonfly as a webber. That's going to cost you 5 monster meat, 4 silk, and 4 honey, assuming you get one of the nurses from a spider queen. But that's not all. In order to survive, you're going to have to abuse every bit of healing you can get from these spiders. This next step is required, otherwise you will die. When Dragonfly leaves to spawn larvae, punch a wall and move in any direction to cancel your attack. This will cause the nurse spiders to start attacking that wall. The second the spiders jump in the air, blow the webby whistle to cancel their attack. Now you got free healing from the spiders without actually damaging the wall. Do this as many times as you can when Dragonfly leaves to spawn larvae. Just remember that the nurses have a cooldown of 8 seconds on their ability, so you will have to wait 8 seconds every time before trying it. Then as long as you time your pan flute correctly when Dragonfly rages, you should be good and then the fight is over. Having less spiders comes with the added bonus of less spiders to eat the meat, allowing you to pick up more of it before it's gone. Now we're moving on to Klaus. How many nurse spiders do you need to tank Klaus? You don't. You don't do it. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's really resource intensive even for tanking. No matter how many spiders you bring, you'll have to wait until some of them unfreeze so you can get back to full health. Essentially, it's probably just faster to kite Klaus than to tank him this way. Not to mention he's probably the easiest raid boss, so I don't know why you would even try to do this. If you still insist on tanking this guy, I'd recommend 10 nurse spiders. But don't do it, just kite him. It's not that hard. Moving on, the shadow pieces. This is where stuff starts to get a little tricky. Every level 2 and 3 shadow piece has an ability to scare spiders and force them to not attack. Which is not the greatest thing when your entire strategy revolves around using spiders to heal you. From my testing, and trust me, I've tested a lot, I found that the system that decides when they should use this ability is entirely random. This means that 2 people can use the exact same strategy and only one of them will succeed from luck. To win the fight, you have to get lucky and pray that goddamn Shadow Knight stops spamming the distract ability. However, there is a way to counter this. If a shadow piece is being attacked, they are less likely to use this distraction ability. If you can find a way to overwhelm the shadow pieces with attacks, you should be good and they won't spam the distract ability. One way to do this is to just go all out and use 20 nurse spiders. And sure, this does work, however there's a much cheaper way you can do this, and it involves the use of another spider. Spitters. Spitter spiders are the key to winning this fight. A big problem with trying to get spiders to attack the shadow pieces is that all of them are just really fast. Oftentimes the spiders won't be able to catch up with them due to their high mobility. And if they can't attack them, guess what happens next? The simple solution to this problem is to just get a spider who can shoot at enemies no matter how fast they are. This is where the spitter spider comes in. The cheapest and most replicable army consists of 2 spitters and 6 nurse spiders. I recommend taking 2 blue caps and a few green ones just in case RNG still decides to screw you over. But other than that, you should be fine. Kill the bishop first and rook second, and now we're on the home stretch. The level 3 Shadow Knight is capable of breaking your football helmet in 3 hits. So I don't recommend that you try tanking him. Luckily, your spiders can do the tanking for you. If you hit him 3 times after an attack, his next attack will target a spider due to how his AI works. Now you can safely kill the Shadow Knight while barely getting hit at all. Ignore my long explanation of this fight, it's actually extremely easy in practice. unlike the last boss we're talking about. The Beequeen. So what you need to understand is that the Beequeen fight is a total shit show. Unlike the other bosses here, I don't have a minimum amount of gear you need. However, I used 6 nurse spiders and roughly 15 regular spiders. The 6 nurses are something that you should already have from a previous boss fight, and the regular ones can be easily gathered by feeding spiders you find in a forest. The way Beequeen works is that only the second half of the fight introduces screaming, so you can actually cheese the entire first half of the fight by tanking her. To avoid being targeted by the grumblebees, run around with Beequeen until they attack the spiders. You can then safely tank Beequeen yourself without being attacked by anything else. Once the second half of the fight starts, things start to get interesting. You can tell you're in the second half because Beequeen starts screaming and the grumblebees start moving really fast. This is the point in the fight where tanking with spiders is no longer an option. Beequeen's scream distracts spiders from attacking, which also stops nurses from healing. You can definitely solve this problem by just having hundreds of spiders, but we're trying to go cheap and affordable here. The best way to handle this situation is through the use of an item that will be completely useless outside of this fight. The shoebox. Because spiders are actually more of a detriment than an aid in this fight, the shoebox lets you fix that problem and disband them. What you want to do is put the Beequeen and her bees to sleep using the pan flute, and then use the webby whistle to move the spiders somewhere far away from the fight. Remember, you don't want any of them interfering with the boss fight. Once you're there, use the shoebox to disband all the spiders. From there, it's going to be a solo webber run because we are going to kite Beequeen. Kinda. We're using a method that's not unique to Webber and is probably one a lot of you have seen already. You're going to need 4 pan flutes. One of them can be found in the Beequeen biome, while the other ones you have to craft. Contrary to popular belief, pan flutes are actually really cheap to make and can be crafted with just a prestidigitator. The last item you'll need is a yellow amulet from the ruins. When Beequeen screeches, equip the yellow amulet and run alongside a path to escape Beequeen. After the bees stop being angry, unequip the yellow amulet and run back to Beequeen. Then use the pan flute to put everything to sleep. Once they are asleep, attack the Beequeen. You should be able to get 5 hits on her before she screeches again and the process repeats. Run from bees, put them to sleep, hit and repeat. One thing to note is that since pan flutes are technically a non-renewable resource, you should stop using them once it hits 10%. This is just so you can deconstruct it later and craft the pan flute back. You might run out of pan flute uses by the end of this fight, but at that point just tank her. She probably has like 600 health left. And that's how you kill half of Beequeen with spiders. If you want to get your nurses back or any other spider you had, simply run back to the location where you left them and tame them again. It only costs 1 meat to tame 3 spiders. And that is how you kill the major overworld bosses with spiders. I was originally going to do a full run where I kill all of them on the same world, but I kept running out of time to kill the shadow pieces. The time where I wasn't making a YouTube video was spent on trying to perfect this run, but it kept failing. Though I still might eventually make a video on it if people want it. With that said, I'll probably still be making videos on Webber since even after all this time I still think there's lots of potential left. I already found a new legitimate use for 2 items that I originally thought were useless. So I will probably tackle another boss like Toadstool next. One more thing before I end the video. During the runs, I found a really good world where the lunar island somehow became connected to the mainland. I have no idea how rare this is, but this is the first time this has happened to me. I've decided to upload the world on my Discord and that's where it's going to be. So if you want a world where you can walk to the lunar island from the mainland, head there for the download. Thank you for watching and goodbye.